becomes a habit. It's, you know, I don't have a home, I don't have a printer. I'm not going to travel around with a printer because I don't like to look at the screen. It becomes a habit, and it's okay. So, and then every time we can think, you know, a few pages of paper less that Mother Earth has to produce, and then I don't know what to do with them. So this is how you integrate every, you know, self-cherishing thing. Yeah, you don't have it in the book. Don't feel so shocked. Leora, it's not in the book. No, it's not in the book. It's Nagarjuna's precious garland, which is the dedication, but it can also be used as a aspiration. Dedication can always be used as both. At the beginning of your practice, this is what I want. And these 20 verses by Shantideva, by Nagarjuna, they're really, really precious, and apparently His Holiness reads them every day. This is why also I started to kind of integrate this a bit. And it really shows us where I want to go. And it shows me also I want to go there, but I'm not doing much to be able to get there. Okay, so we start by just reciting it. Therefore, each day, 3 times a day. Can you see from there? Yeah. Before statue, stupa, or elsewhere. So statue, stupa, you don't have statue, stupa, doesn't matter. You visualize the Buddha. And by the way, we don't need to visualize the Buddhas, they're always present. Now I'm talking a bit Buddhism here, because many of you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, then maybe slowly also you learn and you get used to that. I mean, the Buddhas made promises that they will be of benefit to all sentient beings, continuously, spontaneously, effortlessly. That's why they're always present. The Buddha is not an ordinary human being. Yeah, Buddha has powers, and we should. Sometimes we were talking in the car about this. We don't tap into that power enough, I think. We always want to figure it out ourselves. You know, instead of what we did in the Bodhisattva retreat, this is tapping into the Buddha's powers to help us purify our negative karma, to have the light into us, taking refuge, you know, generating the mind of refuge, trusting the method, affirming to ourselves, I want to attain enlightenment, visualizing all sentient beings around us, and all that, asking for help. You know, we have to do our own side also, but we don't. So it's not just, you know, oh, poor sinner me down here, please Buddha high up there, help me. No, it's not like that. We understand. The Buddhas can only help us if we have the karma to be helped, but we can at least try. And every time we connect to the Buddhas, we connect with our good heart. We connect with what we really want. You know, it nourishes that potential that we all have to have a good heart. It can be Jesus, by the way. I'm not saying it's only the Buddhas have good hearts, so please don't hear that. It can be whatever other source you think is there that inspires you, that lives, that shows you how to not be harmful and how to be of benefit. So elsewhere means can be in your mind, you know. So don't worry, you don't have to run out and buy a stupa or statue. It's okay. But the thing is, still, there must be something in a Buddha image. Otherwise, why would you think that the only statues that garden centers who have nothing to do with religions all over the world sell is Buddha statues? Why not other things? Must be something that reminds us in a very subtle way of something, peace maybe, something maybe non-violence, maybe, I don't know. We don't need to know exactly what it is. But how many people do you know who are absolutely not Buddhists, have something, Buddha statue, Buddha image or something in their bathroom, in their garden, huh?
And everybody has them today, and it's...
And not just in Israel, by the way.
It's difficult for me to see, you know, people with Buddha plants, and Buddha they make out of their Buddha like a
wonderful
trash can for their ear. It drives me
wonderful. Wonderful. It reminds them, it nourishes something in them. So if you see it and you feel disturbed and you see the Buddha is sitting on the floor and flowers are coming out of his brain, you go like, yes, his teachings are like flowers that everybody enjoys. When you think he shouldn't sit on the floor, in your mind you put him higher up, you make a beautiful throne for him, you know, with the 8 lions and all these other things, what is in the front, the Doppelvaja in the front and all that. You do like this. And you think, you know, instead of going, ooh, negative karma, because that's what we learned, isn't it? We have learned that if you do these things and you do without respect, it's negative karma. Only for people who know how to behave with Buddha statues, it becomes negative karma. So don't tell them. You make them feel guilty and throw away the Buddha, which has flowers out of his head. I have a very good friend of mine, also on our balcony, in Switzerland. The Buddha sits on the floor, there's moss kind of growing. It looks a bit like my haircut. And she even asked me, what do you think? You know, I said, it's fine, it's okay, you know. As long as, the main thing is that it touches something in them. They see something good. And who knows, maybe in this life, maybe in future lives, they will be sitting in Monash listening to Buddha's teaching. We don't know, you know. It's all relative, the whole thing. But if you kind of go, oh yeah, I know this is a Buddha statue, I should see it like the real Buddha, and you cut his top off because think, I need a flower vase, it's nice, you put him on the floor. For you, that's negative karma. Because you do it without consideration for what you have heard about the Buddhas, okay? Yeah. Buddha's everywhere, isn't it? Now what we have to do is to us to become Buddhas. So, like that. You should perform the recitation of the following verses. Again, this is for Buddhists. If you want to become a Buddha, this is good to do. Like when we said, you know, also not just sit, but also taking refuge. Refuge means every day kind of, hey, what do I want? What we just did now in the motivation is such an important question. What is really important for me? What do I want? Something that is realistic. Even if it takes a long time, eliminating all your negative emotions, that's a realistic thing, because we can reduce them, means also we can eliminate them, right? But wanting the prime minister that you want, you're one person, that's not realistic, that you will have the one you want. You should still try to get the one that you want, okay? So, but developing a good heart, that's a realistic goal. Everybody can do that, even in the midst of like aggression and you know, everybody going crazy and all this. You don't have to contribute to that if your mind is trained. If your mind is not trained, you will go along with it. This is how we influence others. But I think you have all made the experience, chaos around you, but you remain calm. It doesn't take long. And I tell you, especially in Israel, it doesn't take long for the situation to calm down. I don't know why. I don't know why here, because probably it's so rare that somebody remains calm. So then that one person attracts attention. You know? So it's that's what I experienced. Of course not, you know, not shooting and bombs and things like that, but normal, natural frustration, having to wait in a queue. Everybody gets upset. Everybody starts to, why not more than one counter open? You know, you experience that? You remain calm. You let somebody who is behind you go in front. Very quickly, it will calm down. I experienced it. And not just once. And then we start very nice conversation.
In the Corona, it was great because we need to have 2 minutes. It was great.
Yeah.
Everybody was calm. And, yeah.
You couldn't push. You can only push with your mental energy. And it needs a lot of mental concentration to push mentally. Yeah? So like that. Yeah. Okay. Honoring in all ways the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. The Buddha as our mentor, the Dharma as the methods, the Sangha as the spiritual community, meaning beings on the path of seeing and above, like the Arya Bodhisattvas. And also the Bodhisattvas, I take refuge in them and pay homage in those worthy of homage. I turn away, just come in. Hello. Welcome. I turn away from all negativity. So, this is... Now, if this sounds too... Again, it's Nagarjuna, so he's a great scholar, so he says, I turn away. If you think that this sounds like making a promise and you won't be able to keep it, to be a little bit more soft on you, you can change and you can say, may I turn away from all negativity, right? But if you're confident enough and you think, that is my path, this is what I want, it's fine to say, I turn away from all negativity. When you see you fall into the trap again, you purify it. You go, shit, again, that's not what I want. And this is how the mind transforms, slowly, slowly. And with time, you will see ethical conduct comes naturally. You will not be able to say something anymore which is nasty and negative that before just came out just very, very, very naturally. You might say it, but then you will feel very hot in your body, by the way. This happens to me, that before things I just threw out like this. Now when I say something, I get very hot. And then I know, oh, bala. Okay, I rejoice in all the merit. Very important also, the other side. We're doing so many good things. We're such a present to the world in this crazy society. Crazy society, not just in Israel, everywhere. I embrace all merit. I rejoice in all the merit amassed by all sentient beings, so not just by myself. We usually look at all the negativity of all sentient beings instead of looking at our own negativity. And we forget to look at the positive things of all sentient beings. That's why we get depressed and hopeless. Through the merit of doing this and the merit I have done and will do, may all sentient beings be endowed with unsurpassed bodhicitta. So maybe if you don't know what bodhicitta is a mind state. It's an aspiration wanting to attain enlightenment, meaning enlightenment means your mind becomes normal. The only way your mind will be normal when you're enlightened, meaning seeing things as they are and not deluded and not confused. Seeing that aggression doesn't lead anywhere, but especially seeing that nothing exists the way that it appears to me. Everything is depending on something else. Material things, all of them impermanent, will fall apart. No need to put that much effort into them. It's okay to keep up houses and all this, but it will fall apart anyway at one point. And all this, seeing reality, seeing an absence of inherent existence that our mind projects into objects, persons, and situations. That would be enlightenment. And the wish for all other beings to wake up also, to end their suffering and causes of suffering. So that's one part. Like to be of benefit to others. The first part is like, I need to become a Buddha in order to be able to guide others to that state. That's bodhicitta. So citta means mind or mind state, bodhi means enlightenment, awakened. We are all dreaming and we think that we are awake. We're not, as opposed to a Buddha, an awakened being.
We skipped the verse, Anila.
Huh?
We skipped the verse.
We skipped the verse?
Yeah, the one asking the teachers to remain.
I chose no merit amassed by all sentient.
68.
Bowed head and palms together. I beseech all perfect Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma and remain as long as beings remain. Thank you, David. So this is, it goes into the seven-link practice, as you know, always asking for teachings. Otherwise the Buddhas will not teach anymore, because what's the point if nobody wants to listen? Through the merit of doing this and the merit I've done and will do, may all sentient beings be endowed with unsurpassed bodhicitta. There we go, the bodhicitta. May all sentient beings have immaculate faculties and transcend the unfree states. May they control their own actions and live by right livelihood. Nice, just to have this attitude, and then don't go and say, but look at them, they're cheating. And you look at them cheating, then you go, I will never do that. And then you go, oh, maybe I also cheat, sometimes here, sometimes there, sometimes this, sometimes that. And then we don't judge others so much anymore. It's very helpful when you get angry at the actions of others. You look at them and you say, this is not beneficial, this is no good, I will never do that. And then you are protected from doing the same thing. Because when somebody is very aggressive, we ourselves, very quickly, we become very aggressive. If you fed your mind the information, I will not add to the aggression, you have some kind of protection, not to add. May all sentient beings have immaculate faculties and transcend the unfree states. May they control their own actions and live by right livelihood. Now I did twice. Okay. May all embodied beings have jewels in their hand, and may a limitless amount of all kinds of necessities remain inexhaustible for as long as cyclic existence endures. Meaning, may everybody understand when they have enough. That's what it means. Or in abundance, so that we can learn to share. At one point, somebody in Austria said, Austrians are very humble, like the Swiss people. You know, small country, nobody, you say we're from Austria, they say, from Australia. You say, no, from Austria. I say from Switzerland, they go, from Sweden. No, from Switzerland. You know, nobody knows us. Kind of Switzerland even more than Austria because banks and money and, you know, all these kind of things. So she said, all this talk about gold and jewels and pearls and sapphire, why are they so attached to these things? I said, well, you don't think they're attached, it's just beautiful, that's it. It's just what an ordinary mind, sees as very beautiful. And what's wrong with having things in abundance that are precious, wanting to share them with everybody? It's okay, you know? I mean, you come into, I don't know, Versailles Palace, right? You look at this abundance. First moment you go like, wow. Then you go like, oh, totally crazy. Why did all this gold? And just the second moment. But the first moment you go like, wow. Yeah. Then when you start to think about the injustice, then you go like, hey, what is
Vive la
this?
France. The revolution then came.
Yeah. So then you go like, what is this, right? But the first moment because this is what the Buddhas have here, then it's not material things, it's just to show us our mind is fascinated by these things. This is why one does so many negativities to them, and then one's head cuts off, as Ariella says. This is it. If they would have shared all their things, maybe their head would still be on, of Marie Antoinette. Poor thing. Okay. Then it goes, at all times may all people born of low status become supreme persons. May all beings be endowed with intelligence and legs. Okay, all beings. Yeah, all beings be human so that they can practice. I think that's what it means. Intelligence, human intelligence, and legs. May all beings have a good complexion and also a good physique. May they be radiant and pleasant to behold, free of illness, and may they be strong and live long. All beings. Not, no more beauty contests because everybody's beautiful. You know, we're not making any contests who has more ears than the others because we have all 2 ears and 1 nose. Yeah, but then the beautiful nose, the beautiful ears and all this. So it's like, but if everybody's beautiful, it becomes very natural and very normal. And inner beauty, I think he's talking about here. Pleasant to behold, free of illness, may they gain expertise in skillful means and become free of all sufferings. So in order to become free of all sufferings, and this is what we see is happening at the moment, and I think it's a real shame. In the West, Buddhism seems to be for middle-class white people. Because they are beautiful and, they don't need to this and that. They don't have to struggle so much. They have time and leisure to think about these things and to practice. I'm not saying it's right. This is why one is trying to bring these very, very beautiful methods that don't need to be Buddhism, by the way. One is trying to bring them to deprived areas where that's where they are needed, but they cannot receive them because they don't have enough leisure. You know, when we meditate on precious human rebirth, the freedoms and the endowments or the leisure, this is what it is, yeah? But we can at least try to bring it, not to convert them or anything, but to make their life a little bit easier. And some get it, so don't forget, don't say, oh, no, it's no point bringing it there. Try to bring it there, by all means. But in general, they're not interested. But try, because some of them get it, and when they really get it, then they bring it there, and then they can talk out of experience. Yeah, it's the best way. I mean, if you have somebody who's been addicted to something, if they go and try to help people who are addicted, they know best how to help them, because they know how it feels, right? Okay, but if you feel that you are, beautiful and this and that, and you have enough affluence, be very happy about this. Don't feel guilty, and then use it in a good way, because we don't know where we'll be next life, by the way. No clue if life will be so easy again, You think your life is difficult? We're so privileged. Still, even, it's still even with the difficult situation here, we're still privileged. You just need to be on the other side. I don't want to make you feel guilty, okay? Just, put it in relation. Become free of all suffering. May they be devoted to the three rare sublime ones, not to the three rare sublime ones as a religion, but especially may they be devoted to methods that lowers their own suffering and the suffering of others, and finally eliminates it. This is what it means. Yeah. And have the great treasure of the Buddha Dharma. May they be adorned with love, compassion, joy, the ability to remain equanimous in the face of hardship, generosity, ethical conduct, fortitude, joyous effort, meditative stability and wisdom. Thus adorned, may they complete all the collections and obtaining brilliant signs and marks, may they traverse without hindrance the 10 grounds to the inconceivable. So don't forget, if you become a Buddha, somebody might make some container out of you and stick vases in your head. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Would you get upset? No. Do you think the Buddha gets upset? Absolutely not. But somebody might do that to you. May I now also be adorned with these good qualities and all others as well. May I become free from all faults, and may I attain supreme love for all beings. May I perfect the virtues to which all beings aspire, and may I always dispel the sufferings of all beings. In all worlds, may all beings who are feeling anxious due to fear become completely fearless merely by hearing my name. Wouldn't that be wonderful? People just, and it happens, you know how you feel happy when somebody tells you, I'm so happy to see you. You feel you have a good effect on them, because when they're happy, they're not harming anybody. So we have to have a good effect on people, not because they should love us, but so that they can relax and they don't feel threatened. Yeah? Such a nice thing when somebody says, I was walking through the streets of Tel Aviv the other day and somebody came running after me. To be honest, I had no clue who the person was. She said, oh, you were here, I'm so happy that you're here. Made me so happy to think, wow, just by being present, it makes somebody happy. Then making them happy is more difficult, I do admit, but that's what we want. May my body, speech and mind only benefit others, to be able to relax them. But then also I have other people that doesn't make them happy at all when they see me. They think it's a sect and it's coming to convert, and especially in Christian countries, and these kind of things. Yeah. So then I'm sad, because that's not my purpose, and I try to get into conversation with them sometimes. Sometimes I just leave it alone and think, well, and wish them well from my heart. I'm not going, how dare we have a religious freedom in this country. I allow everybody to look at me the way they want to look at me. Angry, happy, whatever, without, reaction. They have a right to look at me in an angry way. I mean, we have freedom of opinion. We might have freedom of religion, but we also have freedom of opinion, so it's fine. That's great, big training, I tell you, and the robes really forced me to do that. No hair and robes, so I can go out into society totally relaxed, with allowing people to look at me in an aggressive way or in a shocked way. And it works. You train, it works. But we had to train. At the beginning, right at the beginning, I wasn't used to be a public figure like that. Somebody on the train would just come sit next to me, where lots of empty spaces. They sit next to me and say, "Why did you become a nun?" And the first thought in my head, "It's none of your business." That was at the beginning, because that's how we trained. We are trained, nobody should look at me just because of my appearance in a funny way. Nobody should sit next to me when I don't feel they should next to me and all this. So it took me the training to understand I am a public figure. Not easy. It's not so easy sometimes, But you're not, so don't worry. You don't have to train.
How does the Israeli street treat you?
It depends. I mean, there's no general thing.
Because Israelis are very curious. I can imagine you sitting in a coffee shop and them coming up to you and
I have nothing lost in a coffee shop anyway. I don't know. If they're shocked seeing me in a coffee shop, they're right. If I'm sitting there alone, if I'm sitting there with somebody else because we're discussing something, it's different. But if I sit there alone, this is why I never go to a coffee shop alone. I have nothing lost in a coffee shop. I have coffee at home. Why would I go to the coffee shop? So if they're shocked, they're right. But it depends, it very much depends. For the religious, I'm not a problem because I'm not Jewish. They seem to see that or smell that, or only when I heard in Dharamsala once, I understood something for the spaghettis or something. So to the Chabad people, and so I pointed it out to them, and he looked at me and said, "You're Israeli." I said, "No, it's okay, don't worry. I'm Swiss and I'm not Jewish." Okay. So then it's okay. Yeah. And when I'm in Jerusalem, I go to the Western Wall. I just sit there a little bit at the back. I'm happy to be a woman because the men don't have chairs, only the women. So don't forget that also women do have privileges on that wall. They have chairs. You can sit there for a long time, do your prayers very, very comfortably, and so I'll sit there and say mantras and try to visualize the Buddhas, and not to make them Buddhists, but to bring some peaceful energy to that place. That's what I can do, I can't do more, but that I do. And I like to see the religious people, how they behave nicely, how they're full of respect towards the wall, whereas the tourist, between them and turning their back to the wall and not dressed in a respectful way. So, yeah. So there's different kinds of people in every category. So it's good not to generalize. So, from seeing and thinking of me, and from merely hearing my name, may beings become clear-minded, undisturbed, and at ease. I think the Dalai Lama has this power. My teacher, when I think of him, definitely has this power. So I calm down. Yeah. May it be definite that they will awaken, and in all their future lives may they attain the 5 super knowledges. In all ways, may I always do what brings benefit and happiness to all beings. Such a nice thought. You get up in the morning with that thought, all your anxiety and it all goes. Whatever happens today, may I be of benefit. Loving kindness opens the heart. So simple. May I always dissuade all at once all those beings of any world who intend to engage in negativity without doing them any harm. If you are in the army or if you're a soldier, that's the verse for you. May I able to stop others from doing harm to themselves or to others by not harming them. That they understand that harming is not a good thing. Like the earth, water, fire, wind and fire, medicinal herbs and the trees in the wilderness may always freely be an object of enjoyment by all beings as they wish. Wow. That's a public figure, right? May I when somebody needs shade, may I become the shade. Somebody needs a nice forest to go walk to, where somebody needs a beach, like the beach that is good for people's minds. May I become like that. So wonderful thoughts. For our ego, it is very threatening. What about me? But this is, we understand the ego will go, and this will become very naturally, like a mother or a father. When you're able to make your children when they're not well, and you're able to make them happy, you're so happy, isn't it? Even if you have to maybe then not go to the movies and stay at home and play with them these stupid games that alone you would never play, but you're so happy because they're happy.